The widespread epidemic of child abuse affects our country day by day with alarming rates and receives more than 3 million reports every year. Child abuse usually occurs when the caregivers of said child inflict pain, emotional trauma, and in extreme cases, death. Abuse is also correlated to the lack of action or neglect that may leave a child emotionally damaged in many ways. This is a large range of child abuse from physical abuse, verbal abuse, and sexual abuse as well.
Today's video, we'll be breaking down and examining 3 extreme and haunting cases of child abuse. On Monday, March 23, 2015, a Cincinnati local mother is accused of trading sex with her 11-year-old daughter for her dealer of heroin. The 32-year-old adult mother had pleaded guilty in June to raising money to feed her heroin addiction by loaning out her 11-year-old daughter to her drug dealer, who, with the mother's blessing, raped and abused her, sometimes videotaping it. The daughter was forced to have vaginal, anal, and oral sex with the 40-year-old man, according to the indictment against her. She pleaded guilty to multiple counts of complicity to rape, human trafficking, and child endangerment. Corcoran had special routine after her daughter was brutalized by her drug dealer. As a reward, she gave her daughter heroin, the court was told. The middle schooler vomited each time she was given this drug. This happened at 4 times between February and June of 2014. Corcoran still hasn't expressed any apologies for selling her daughter for drugs, said on court on Tuesday, March 26. The once 11-year-old girl is now 13 years old and is living out of state with her father and stepmother. She is taking medication, has had suicidal thoughts, and is undergoing medical care. This just goes to show how such extreme cases of child abuse can lead to emotional trauma and can affect the development of one's child. According to the new indictment against April Corcoran from Pleasant Plain, Corcoran was indicated on 27 counts. The charges include complicity to rape, trafficking in persons, corrupting another with drugs, and endangering children. The man the prosecutor identifies as her heroin dealer, Shandell Willingham, faces 25 counts. His charges include rape, trafficking in persons, endangering children, and pandering sexuality-oriented material involving a minor. It is unknown how the child would develop through puberty and grow up as a young adolescent, having these events happen to her in her past. It's times like this that we must be aware of the epidemic that's raging across America. Child abuse may not have a lot of physical signs such as cuts, bruises, or scars on the human's body. Many times the psychological trauma isn't experienced until the future in their development. Children might be too young to notice any sort of changes or any sort of uncomfortableness that they might have with situations brought up in their household. While this man and woman have probably been prosecuted and put in jail for a very long time, there's no chance to tell how many other people are going around abusing children and selling them for sex trafficking or drugs.
In Indiana on pornography charges for this sex video he made with that 11-year-old girl on his phone. And he and her mom still face more than 24 charges each in Hamilton County. The little girl, who was brave enough to tell, is living with stepmother and father.
We just have to, hope and pray for this victim that with counseling, with the love and support of her family, and hopefully these prosecutions that are happening in Indiana will happen in Hamilton County, will give her some closure and some peace.
Sharon Glass, the girlfriend of the boy's father, and the boy's father, Michael Marshall, were arrested in March of 2012. Investigators said the pair would lock up the boy in a closet or zip tie him to a bed for days. The woman accused of starving this 13-year-old boy to the point where he only weighed 40 pounds when he was rescued has been found guilty on 7 charges of the child abuse case.
Isn't that right?
You can never tell Mike what to do.
You did.
No, because if I ever told Michael no,
you told Mike what to eat?
No.
You told Mike what he could buy?
No, sir.
You told Mike where he could go?
Sir.
And Sharon Glass told a police detective that she threatened to move out of the Titusville home unless Michael Marshall straightened out his son. That 13-year-old boy was found in March 2012 lying locked in a bathroom, looking like a skeleton, weighing just 40 pounds.
While on the witness stand, Glass insisted she had nothing to do with the alleged caging, handcuffing, and starvation of the boy. However, prosecutors are trying to portray Glass as the one who determined all of the rules in the house. Glass said she kept to her own half of the house and hardly ever saw the child. She maintained that posture until she was shown a picture of her handwriting on the boy's homework. Another photo shows the closet in which the boy was locked in for months at a time. On Thursday, the jury heard testimony from the victim who said he had to eat toothpaste to stay alive. "I was locked in the shower of my mom's bedroom," he said. Jurors saw disturbing pictures of the skeletal conditions of the victim. They were also visually disturbed at what they could make out, including the conversation the boy recalled with his father. "I need a certain amount of calories and nutrients. I'm not getting very much of that," he said. And the father kept on saying, "I have no pity for you." The boy was once handcuffed to a bed for 3 days, but that wasn't the only time. "My right hand was cuffed to my left leg, and my left leg was chained to my right leg," he said. Glass can get more than 100 years in prison. Marshall has made a tentative plea agreement in which he'll serve 20 to 40 years, but it's likely he will gain more.
I don't know.
Was his hands behind his back?
I don't know.
Did he have a zip tie across his abdomen?
I don't know.
Were his legs bound and tied to his bed?
I don't know, sir.
Was he forced to stand up?
I don't know.
Was he forced to pee in a pot that his dad held?
I never knew that.
Theoretically, Glass could get more than 100 years in prison if she's convicted of all the charges. In Viera, Brevard County, Dan Billow, WESH 2 News.
A 4-year-old girl was strangled with a power cord, brutally beaten and sexually abused for 10 days by mother's boyfriend while woman was out of town. The girl's name was Tegan Skiba. She died in July 2010 at North Carolina Hospital from blunt force trauma to the head. Jonathan Douglas Richardson, 25 years old, is now facing the death penalty over her murder. The chief medical examiner told the court that the girl had 66 bite marks covering her whole body and too many obvious bruises. Dentists even say that some bites were so severe that flesh was torn off. These very graphic and explicit autopsy pictures that were shown in court caused her parental guardian to walk out on that Wednesday afternoon. Richardson tortured the girl while mother was out of town for Army Reserve training and is now facing a lifetime of prison.
In one way or another, have given her bite marks, lacerations, cuts all over her body, and he says there is evidence of sexual assault. The man was living in a barn behind his grandparents' house. The sheriff says the grandparents had no idea this was going on, but that is where this allegedly took place. The child was eventually airlifted to UNC, where she is in critical condition.
We have spoke with the doctors and the medical staff, and they are just as concerned, and they cannot believe it either. The report that we've got, one of the worst cases that they have ever been involved with. Things like this shouldn't even occur at all.
Again, Jonathan Douglas Richardson is in jail right now on a $1 million bond. They're still processing the scene, still investigating, but everyone involved basically says this is the worst case that they have ever seen. Bite marks, lacerations, the signs of sexual assault all over this 4-year-old child's body. She is in critical condition. We'll continue to follow all the updates right here as they come out of Johnston County. Right now we're live in Johnston County. Cheyenne Rodriguez, ABC 11 Eyewitness News.